Hi there, my name is Brian Nichols. I am the owner of Nichols Combat Sports Management, also known as NicholsCSM. Today's video, I will be previewing an upcoming event going on today named ShamrockFC 308. It is taking place today, August 18th, 2018, in the Ameristar Casino Hotel in Kansas City, Missouri. So today's video, I would like to preview the event, but I'm only going to be previewing the amateur fights because I will be using this platform in this YouTube video and this hopefully upcoming YouTube series where I would like to focus in on amateur bouts in events around me that I'll be going to in person, because this is the first event that I'm going to in person where I'm going to make this video in conjunction. And I'd like to review the amateur fighters because I'm still new to management and managing fighters, and so I would like to review, since I feel like I'm an amateur in this field, I would like to also reach out to amateur fighters. So without a further ado, let's look at the fight card. So here we are looking at the fight card for today. It looks like we have 11 bouts going on. So if we scroll down and look at the amateur bouts, it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 amateur bouts. Now, if you're familiar with professional bouts, normal mixed martial arts professional bouts are 3 rounds, 5 minutes apiece. But when it comes to amateur, they're actually 3 rounds, 3 minutes apiece. So just to clarify that for you. So let's look at the very first fight, the very first amateur fight on the card. Looks like it's an amateur heavyweight fight between Dan Olijiga versus Kirby Blank. And it looks like Dan is 0-0 and Kirby is 2-0. So just looking at the records, it looks like Kirby is on the up and up, I guess you could say. He's 2-0, so that's good. Under amateur heavyweights, looks like he's number 37 in just the Midwest, in just amateur, in just heavyweights. So if we click on Kirby's name, see if we can look at any other information he has. So looking at his record, looks like there was a canceled bout in 2018. So it looks like all of his fights that he's had, or looks like he has. That's interesting. A confirmed upcoming bout on August 17th. I think that was yesterday. Yes, it was. Interesting. Okay, I'm not too sure about this one, but the one that's going on today in ShamrockFC 308, of course, that's confirmed. But he has 2 other fights early this year, so he's turning around fights pretty quick. So I like that. So again, ranked in the Midwest. Okay, so Kirby. So I am interested in Kirby, 2-0. Everything's looking good. How old is he? Doesn't have anything listed there, so I'd be interested in knowing like age. Date of birth, but as we all know, heavyweights are usually a little older than some of the lighter weights. So even if this Kirby gentleman is a little older, that's okay. So let's add Kirby to the list of fighters that I'm interested in. So I think that was bout number 1. So let's do bout 1, amateur heavyweight, 2-0. Kirby Blank. Okay, so that's the first fighter I'm interested out of the amateur bout. So let's move on to the next fight. So next fight is 170 pounds, so this is welterweight. This is Chris Laperle versus Joshua Horn. Chris is 0-2 and Joshua is 0-3. So I'm not gonna take into really the rankings here. I mean, number 638, you know. But both are on losing streaks. So hey, whoever the winner of the bout is will snap their losing streak and have a win in the win column. And the other one will be Chris will either be the 0-3 or Josh will be 0-4. So rough start for amateurs, but hey, this is amateur. This is this is where you want to get lost. This is where you want to get your losses. This is where you want to get your experience and build yourself up so you're ready for professional bouts. So I won't write anything down here, but let me preface this with or preface this with that even if fighters are 0-2 and 0-3 in amateur, to me it doesn't really matter. I want to see how they fight, their passion for fighting, what their long-term goals are, and if Joshua Horn comes out and blows the doors off and destroys Chris and he looks great, and then, you know, if I have a conversation with him and he does want to follow through, because think about it, when you start professional, you're starting a clear slate. You're back to 0-0, and that's where it really counts. So while I'm not going to write down Chris and Josh's name on my interested list, I'm still going to keep an eye on all of these fights for amateur and possibly reach out. But the ones that I wanted to definitely keep a note on are the ones I'm going to discuss in this video. So moving on, the next bout we have is 170 pounds, so another welterweight bout. This will be Derek Crawford versus Jacob Harbit. So Derek is 0-1, so he's currently at 1 loss, versus Jacob 0-0, so this is a good bout. So you know what? I will keep an eye on. I'll say Jacob. Let's write down Jacob's name. Jacob Harbit. Let's look at his. See, had anything else going on? Nope. It's just very first bout. So let's keep an eye on Jacob. So bout 2, amateur. This was welterweights. 0-0. Jacob Harbit. Okay. Next, bout number. Actually, yeah, this is bout 3. So the next one is bout number 4. So we got Cody Gillenwater versus Levi Rector. So Cody 0-0, Levi 0-1. Oh, and this is 155 pounds, so this is lightweight. So this is exciting. Lightweight is stacked across the board everywhere. UFC, of course. So let's keep. You know what? Let's roll the dice. Let's go with Cody Gillenwater. Let's see what he's got. Let's see if he's had anything other. Nope. This is his very first bout ever. So let's rate him on the list. No date of birth or anything. No real information. So we don't really know much about him. But let's rate him on our list. So bout 4. So amateur lightweight. 0-0. Cody. It might be Gillen, but I'm assuming it's Gillenwater. Okay. Bout number 5 is a 135 pound bout. So this is bantamweight. And this is Lance Nave versus Derek McMillan. Okay, so first thing that's glaring to me is Lance is 0-2 and Derek is 5-6. Granted, this is still amateur, but I feel like this might be a little bit of a mismatch. Lance is 0-2, Derek's 5-6, so 11 fights versus 2. I'm gonna assume Derek might take this based off of just experience. So I'm not really interested in, I'd like to see. It's hard to get matchups, I would assume, in amateur bouts because you almost just want to take anything you can get. But you still don't want to get steamrolled. Maybe Lance really believes in himself. He's 0-2, but maybe he could take a guy out that's already had 11 bouts. We'll see. I'll be interested in Lance if he can take out Derek. I'll tell you that. If he does really well showing against Derek, we can do that. All right, and the last amateur bout on the card, and last one I will review, is Roland Harris versus Derek Wicks. This is 145 pounds, so this is featherweight. Roland Harris is 4-5, and Derek Wicks is 4-3. So, good matchup, both from the United States. Again, it's amateur. They're both unranked. So you know what? I'm interested in both of these. So I will actually write down both of these fighters. So about, I think this is 6. So amateur. I think it was featherweights. Featherweight. And we won't, we could do the records. So Roland Harris, we'll put in parentheses, 4-5. And Derek Wicks, I-C-K, I should have known that. Wicks, and he is 4-3. Okay. So those are our amateur bouts for tonight at ShamrockFC 308. These are the fighters that I'm going to be interested in. So I will be going to the event tonight and checking those fights out. I will also like to do a post-event video to follow up on how these amateur fights went, how my fighters I'm interested in performed, and maybe even if some of the other amateur fighters that I didn't list here, how they performed. And after all is said and done, I will then reach out to some of the fighters I'm interested in. I would like to get to know them, see what their ultimate goals are in mixed martial arts in their career. Maybe they're just doing it on the side. Maybe they actually want to do this as a long-term career. And so in the post-fight video, I'll go over all that information and go over who I'll reach out to, and we'll go from there. And other than that, I think we're all set for the night. I know the fights start here sometime soon, so I'm going to be wrapping everything up, getting some food, and heading out to the fights. So if you're going to watch the fights tonight, have a good night. Enjoy the fights. If not, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.